Hello and welcome to the Franz Van Cat interview. I'm Annette Young. Once again, relations between America and Pakistan have been dealt another major blow in the wake of the NATO air attack that left some 24 Pakistani soldiers dead over the weekend. The incident complicated matters even more so, with Pakistani officials saying that 2 of their border posts had come under attack unprovoked. And it wasn't helped by Afghan officials claiming that Afghan and American commandos had called in airstrikes after coming under fire from Pakistani territory. My guest today is Major General Attar Abbas. He happens to be the spokesman for the Pakistani military. Major General Attar Abbas, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, I want to talk about what happened over the weekend. The Pakistani military must be furious at NATO over what occurred.
Certainly, there is a great sense of resentment and anger and frustration in the violent ranks of Pakistan Army. More so because in this area, the Army conducted operations in the recent past, cleared the area of the militants with great effort, sacrificed almost over 70 officers and soldiers in this fight, and have now re-established the writ of the state in this area and have regained the lost territory and enhanced its own control in this same territory.
Did your soldiers fight back though when they came under a fire from...
Yes, they did. They retaliated. And the reports that we received back in the headquarters, that the posts were under attack from the other side. And we communicated this to the ISAF headquarters, the regional headquarters, that the posts in such and such location are under heavy fire and the fire should be ceased immediately.
How long did this go on for?
This went on for over an hour, this firing.
And then they had sent a report to NATO headquarters demanding that they cease firing.
Our Director General Military Operations spoke to the regional commander in the ISAF headquarters there and informed him of the location of these posts. Now, these posts, normal procedure is that whenever they are established, the location, the map references are communicated. There are border control centers, they have been established, 4 of them. And their job mainly is to coordinate all these changes, their locations. And in case of some fire incident, the point of origin of fire is immediately communicated to the other side so that matters can be controlled and disallowed to escalate.
This is not the first time it's happened, is it?
No, this is not the first time. There have been 7 to 8 incidents in the past also.
So this must be putting enormous strain on the relationship that the Pakistani military has with NATO at the moment. Are you rethinking your cooperation with NATO as a result?
Well, yes, there is a great stress on the relationship. As I said, there is a resentment within the public also. There is great frustration within the armed forces, particularly the soldiers and the officers who are fighting in the northwest of our country against these terrorists. So if they start coming under the attack from the NATO also, this causes a great anger and frustration.
So, but would it be a case that you would end all cooperation with NATO as a result of this incident?
I don't know really, but the leadership is deciding that. It will be their decision, but I don't think so, because we believe that there is a common threat of terrorism and extremism, and we both are fighting to eliminate, to finish off the terrorists and their organization from the area. We perhaps may have a different direction, a different methodology, because as you know that we are fighting in our own country against our own people who have crossed over. Many of them, young boys, youth, have gone to the other side.
And this is part of the problem, and this is where trust becomes a major issue, because as far as Washington is concerned, I mean, let's go back to May when Osama bin Laden was killed. He was killed on Pakistani soil in a town which is known for its military base, literally right under the nose of the Pakistani military. You can understand why people in the West must view the Pakistani military with some degree of suspicion.
Look, Pakistan military so far have sacrificed over 4,000 soldiers and officers in this war. We have regained a lot of lost territory, enhanced our control over the area, which has helped not only us but the other side also. Because if you have a better control, if the writ of the state is there, there is no scope of safe havens of the terrorists and these organizations. As far as Osama's case is concerned, Do remember that the first lead which was provided by the ISI, that was from ISI about Kuwaiti's transmission and the intercept with some financer in the Arab countries. So therefore that lead was worked on by the CIA, but in the past they have been exchanging these information, and big names have been captured by ISI with the cooperation of CIA.
But there is a lot of suspicion about that there are people within the ISI who are working as double agents who are in fact helping the Taliban.
This is a perception which exists in this. ISI has in the West. ISI has lost over 300 officials in their fight against terrorism. Their 5 main centers have come under attack and destroyed by the acts of terrorism from these organizations. So ISI is a premier intelligence agencies responsible for strategic intelligence, and it is fighting, it is in the lead, it is providing a support to the military operations.
But I mean, coming back to what you said earlier, that there is a problem in Pakistan given the number of people who've crossed sides, as you call it, people who are now working with the Taliban, who are working against NATO and Pakistani interests. So clearly this is a general problem per se for your military as well as your government, isn't it?
This is a problem for which Pakistan alone is not responsible. This area of northwest of Pakistan has been subjected to violence and terrorism since last 3 decades. The whole world had converged into this area in order to fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. And essentially a freedom fight of Afghanistan was converted with the world agreement in a holy jihad in this area. So all that youth who should have been going to schools and doing some business and trade, etc., have no alternatives in this area. The area is impoverished, underdeveloped. What it needs is a school, health centers, business, trade. So therefore, our strategy, our approach is, while keeping the short-term objectives in mind, which should be wrapping up these terrorist organizations, we must not also lose sight of a long-term objective, which must bring peace, normalcy, along with that development and basic trade, commerce. The alternative is not available to the youth of this area, and therefore many of them gone on the other side with the terrorists.
General Abbas, coming back to the incident over the weekend now, the Pakistani government has agreed to close supply routes for NATO. How long will those supply routes remain closed?
Well, as you remember in last year, when in September, when this incident happened, when the NATO helicopter attacked one of our posts and officers were killed in that also, the route was closed for 11 days. The government has taken a decision there to close the route. I don't know exactly for how long it will remain closed.
Certainly, this comes in the wake of a recognition as such by Washington that there's been a sort of heightened military activity along that mountainous border. And in fact, if anything, the last few weeks, American and Pakistani forces have been working closer together to improve cooperation, which of course had come to a halt after the killing of Osama bin Laden. What sort of cooperation have been taking place recently?
Well, the two intelligence are sharing intelligence. They're working together. Of late, as you know, that Mauritania, one of Al-Qaeda leader, along with associates, was captured from one of the cities of Pakistan with a joint intelligence working. He was all about to escape to one of the African countries, so he was captured, apprehended. So we are cooperating with each other, and we strongly believe that this is a common threat, the extremists in both sides of the divide, and we are cooperating, working with each other, and we hope that the cooperation will continue, because we feel that it is in the interest of both the countries to keep cooperating with each other.
But are there people within the military establishment who are of the view that that cooperation should no longer continue, that it's not in the country's best interests?
No, we believe that the terms of the cooperation should be decided, should be transparent, should have the limits drawn, so that each side know that what the limits are. It should not be unlimited. It should not be a free hand to the other side.
Finally, NATO says it's going to carry out an investigation into this weekend's incident. Are you confident that that will be a thorough investigation as such?
We are carrying out our own investigation also to know the real causes of the incident.
But are you confident that NATO is capable of carrying out a thorough investigation?
Well, yes, NATO should carry out a thorough investigation and should probe in as to what are the causes of this incident.
But will it make you rethink the relationship that you have with NATO? As you pointed out, there's been 7 or 8 similar other attacks in recent months. It makes your job particularly difficult when you've got parts of a growing number of the Pakistani population who are starting to believe that this US-led alliance in Afghanistan is not in their interests and that perhaps the Taliban is more on their side.
Well, there is resentment, there is anti-US public sentiment also in the country, and one has to keep this the feeling of the people in mind also. The military is working and carrying the people along. Wherever we have gone, we have always kept this objective in mind, that the people must be carried, because any operation, any military success, that is only sustainable when the people endorse it, when the people support it. We can only bring the real objective of normalcy and peace when a military success enables the environment where there are more policy options available to the politicians. The real objective to us is not how many we have killed or how much of area we have cleared. The real objective is achieved when at the end of a military success there is a political option of bringing people, bringing peace, bringing stability back. So therefore we would like to continue cooperating with the other side, but at the same time you cannot disregard the other side's sentiments, and incidents like this create a lot of wedge between the two. A lot of space is lost, a space of cooperation which is so badly needed, because one has to maneuver provided that space is available. If with the actions like this, incidents like this,
it's put the Pakistani military in a very difficult position.
It does, it does.
Major General Abbas, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you very much for being
you.
with us. That's it for this edition of the Franz Van Kat interview. Stay tuned for more news and headlines, which are coming up very shortly.